Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this video is called How to Learn 20,000 English Words and More. Okay, so thank you very much for your support, likes and shares. So really, let's talk about this very important subject. Okay, are you ready? I hope so. So really, why are you so sure that I need to know 20,000 English words or more? Really? So it's a good question. Why? Why are you so sure? So why do you really think so? Well, I suppose you misunderstood me a little. It means that I suppose or I think you didn't understand me correctly or you didn't understand me rightly. So misunderstood. You understood it another way, okay? So no way am I going to tell you this. No way it means that I don't want to tell you this. I'm not going to tell you this. So, and we use no way to make this sentence sound stronger. So no way, and then you use the opposite word order, okay? So normally we say I am, but if we have this structure, no way, we use the opposite word order, am I. We call it inversion. So no way am I going to tell you this. So this lesson, is for all students. I mean, this information is very useful for all students, but actually the language in this lesson is mostly for intermediate students and higher, okay? So good. So no way am I going to tell you this. Yeah, no, I'm not going to tell you this. No, okay? So the most important point is that, or the most important thing is that it depends on your, we say it depends on your aims, needs, purposes and demands, okay? So you know that aims and purposes, actually they are similar, very similar words, okay? So aims, needs, purposes and demands, it depends on what you want, okay? So maybe you don't need actually these 20,000 English words, who knows, okay? Anyway, it's like but, anyway or but, if you really want to have a strong advanced level, so very good advanced level, you need it, really, you need to know 20,000 English words or more, just I think so, okay? And I can tell you that I suppose I know about 2,000 or 3,000 English words. So about means that I'm not sure, maybe 2,100, maybe 2,800, I'm not sure, okay? So 2,000 or 3,000 English words, and I feel two things at the same time. Two things, okay? So the first feeling is that it isn't so little, it isn't so little, 2,000 or 3,000 English words, and the second feeling is that it isn't enough to understand real English speech. Really, it isn't enough, it's good, but it isn't enough, really. Okay, so my friend, you are absolutely right. It means that you are right, and I'm sure you are right, okay? I'll be very sincere and straightforward with you. Okay, what is sincere? It means very open, So I'm actually telling you what I think, and straightforward, it means that I'll say it directly. So I'll tell you how I feel, I'll tell you how I think. So I'll be sincere, I'll be open, and I'll be straightforward. I'll tell you these things directly, so as I understand it, as I see it, okay? Or with you, why you need to know such a large number of words, okay? So you know that there are also very effective methods of learning English words, so that they remain in your memory forever. So that, a nice phrase. So it means that you want them to be in your memory forever. So you say to stay or to be or remain in your memory forever. So I mean that you can learn English words, so you can learn maybe 20,000 English words, 10,000, 30,000 English words. But I have a question for you. how long will you be able to remember these words? So 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So we have another method, we have another idea. So you need to remember it. And all these words will be in your memory for all your life, forever. So it's another thing, so it's more difficult, but it's what you need. Okay? By the way, let's discuss it. As it's often said, step by step. So as it's often said, it's passive voice, as people often say, so step by step. So, we'll talk about, the first thing, the second thing, the third thing, and so on. And I expect to hear something special. Just maybe you can tell me something like that. So I expect to hear something special, or I hope, I think I'll hear something special and extremely useful. Expect to hear something special and extremely useful. It means very, very useful information, so which you really need. Okay, good. Sure, it means of course. Unfortunately. So it's a very sad fact, it's a pity, it's a very disappointing fact. Most students learn English ineffectively, so they don't learn it effectively. It's a very sad fact. It's a very sad story, and we can't deny it. We can't say no, that's not true. Okay, as a consequence, or as a result, you can say as a consequence or as a result, they get stuck, so they stop, so they can't go on. Yes, they stuck. And I've got accustomed to listening to things like that. So I've got accustomed to, it means that, so I often actually hear things like that, and so it's normal for me. So I've got accustomed to, or I've got used to something, to doing something, okay, to things like that. So it's a normal thing for me, yeah? So, and I often actually have to listen to these things, to things like that. Oh, I'll never be able to learn English. So be able, we use it in the future instead of can. So can in the future is will be able, I'll never be able to learn English, so I can't learn English. English isn't for me, and I'm just wasting time trying to learn it. So it means that, okay, so English is too difficult and it's not for me, so wasting time. So I have time, maybe I tried to learn English but I don't have a result, so I need to stop. So I'm wasting time, so it's stupid trying to learn it. Okay, so it's a real pity. It means it's a sad thing, it's a very disappointing thing, and it's often considered, you can say it's often considered, it's passive voice, or it's often said. People often say, so people often consider it, that we need to come to terms with this fact. So come to terms, it's another nice phrase. Actually, it means that we need to accept. So you can say come to terms or accept the fact. Yes, and accept this harsh reality. So come to terms, it's a nice phrase. I think that's mostly for advanced speakers. Actually, it's very nice, if someone uses these phrases, someone knows this phrase. So come to terms with this fact, so we need to accept this fact, we need just to leave it as it is and accept this harsh reality. So reality, so which isn't so good, which isn't so pleasant, so unpleasant thing, so bad thing. So it's a real thing, but it's a bad thing, okay? And so it means that it's often considered, so people often want actually just to have it. They don't want to change anything, just it's this idea in short. And as far as I'm concerned, or as for me, I have a completely different point of view on this issue. It means that I have a different idea. I have a very, very different idea, so I think differently on this issue or on this matter, on this subject, okay? So I believe, really, I believe everyone can reach a strong advanced level in English. Everyone, absolutely everyone, and learn 20,000 English words or more if you learn English really effectively. It's possible. And this thing, is regardless of race. So what is regardless of race, nationality, age, income, social status, and other factors? It means that it doesn't depend. It's a nice phrase, regardless of something, yeah? It doesn't depend on these things. It's no matter. So no matter what your nationality is, no matter how old you are, so no matter what your income is, it doesn't matter at all. So it doesn't matter, okay? So it's possible to reach this level, a strong advanced English level for everyone. Okay, good. So, I start feeling really optimistic. So optimistic or positive, so you believe that you'll have a good future. What should I do to increase my vocabulary? So what should I do to make my vocabulary larger? To answer this question, I'd like to hear something from you. Okay? So I mean your background. So your background, a very nice word. So what is it? So as you might know, or maybe you know it, as you might know, it's about your past experience or your previous experience. So experience which you had earlier, or in the past, skills and so on. So what you can do, skills and so on. So I need to know something about you, yeah, to give you a really good recommendations or good advice. Okay, so okay, as it has already been said, it's a very nice structure. It means that I have already said it, but it's in passive voice, present perfect passive voice. It has already been said. So we use present perfect because of already. As it has already been said, it means that, okay, so as I have already said it, or as it has already been said, I know about 2,000 or 3,000 English words, okay? So I took a list of 6,000 English words and tried to learn it, okay? So I think that maybe you also tried, to learn a list of English words. Yeah, it's interesting to know about it. And so I have a question for you. How was it? How was it? So did it work? So did you learn all these words? I was absolutely happy. It means I was very, very happy, but only in the beginning. As 90% of those words, as means because 99% of those words were familiar to me. It means that I knew those words. They weren't new for me. They weren't unknown for me. So okay, so I knew those words. Then, or after that, more and more difficult words were appearing. So really, I saw very difficult words, more and more, which was often leading to a splitting headache. So which was often leading to. So lead to, it means that I had it as a result. As a result, I had it, a splitting headache. So we can say terrible headache, but splitting, it sounds strong, a splitting headache. So it's such a terrible headache. It was such a terrible headache, splitting. So it was unbearable. Unbearable means I couldn't bear it. So I couldn't tolerate it. So it was unbearable. Okay, and I got fed up. With this learning method. So fed up with, it means that I got really bored. I got really bored with it. So it became very boring for me, and okay, and that's enough, or that was enough. So I didn't want to continue learning like that any longer. So that was enough. I was fed up. I was fed up. It was unbearable. Okay, so really, and maybe we can say I can't stand this method. Okay. It means I hate this method. Okay, and what can I say? It's quite understandable. It means that it's easy to understand it. It's quite understandable. So no surprising at all. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. So maybe you were thinking, okay, so he'll be greatly surprised, but no surprising at all. So, and I want to tell you something more. So there are two major problems students face, or students have. Yeah, very nice phrase. So two major problems, or two biggest problems, so the most important problems students face or students have, and you also need to be aware of it, and you also need to know it or to be aware of it. Personally, I don't trust these lists. Personally, it means if you want to know my opinion, yeah, I don't trust these lists. It means that I don't think that these lists of English words are really good. Yeah, just it's my idea. So not all of them are really good. The problem is that many of these words are not for daily use, yeah, and unnecessary, really. So I looked at some lists, and I think that's actually not good. So I wasn't satisfied at all. And you need a reliable source. You really need a reliable source. So a source which you can rely on. So you need to trust this source and to be sure that this source is really good. So this list of English words is really good, and it can lead you to a result you really want, yeah, or you really intend to get, or you are going to get. Okay, so I think that's clear. Okay, well done. So secondly, or the second thing, if you're going to learn this or that list without examples, yeah, so just words, a list of words, it's absolutely ridiculous. So it's such a bad thing, such a terrible thing, it's ridiculous. So it's absurd. So actually there is no reason for doing it, okay? Honestly, so I want to be honest with you, honestly, okay, honestly, I consider it a huge waste of time. So I think it's a huge waste of time, a very big waste of time. So there is no point in doing it, there is no point, it's useless, So you can have a look at our great video, yeah, or great video, yeah, 2000 English words with examples, or 2500 English words with examples, yeah, please have a look. And keep in mind two things, so please have it in your mind, yeah? So you need examples, and you need appropriate words, but not inappropriate. Appropriate means common words, popular words, but not inappropriate, not uncommon words. It's what you need, yeah? So it's a problem of many lists of English words, so yeah. So we have just talked about it. Okay, so however, don't think these lists of words will solve all your problems immediately, okay? Don't solve. Yes, it's good, but don't think so it's the only right way, is the only solution. No. Simply enough. So it's a good phrase, yeah, for speaking. It means it's a simple thing, simply enough. It won't work this way. It won't work this way. So these lists can be perfect for revision, but not for learning from scratch. It means that these lists can be very good. So if you know these words and you just want to revise some words, maybe know 90%, 95%, it's good for revision, but not for learning. If from the beginning or from scratch, from zero, okay, not fresh, from scratch, if you know nothing, yeah, I don't know, but some students think, okay, just I'll take this list of words, 3000, just I'll make cards and I'll remember everything and I'll know English in 10 days. No, it doesn't work this way. Why? Why do people think so? It's an illusion, it's a myth. So you need to use other techniques. So what are you talking about? Okay, what are you talking about? Please listen. I'm going to tell you one phenomenal thing. It means very, very important thing, and this thing is of great importance, and it's like a discovery. It's like a scientific discovery. It's a very big discovery. So to remember English words, you need to listen to them in context. Yes, a very important thing, to listen to them in context. Reading is good, yeah, but without listening, it's 5 or 10 times less effective, yeah, it's 5 or 10 times less effective, and it's what we are doing right now. So we are listening, yeah, you are listening to it, and you are reading. It's 5 or 10 times more effective, I believe so, yeah, if you want to remember it, yeah. So it's a memory of your ears and not only your eyes. It's a very important thing, and you see actually and you hear the correct pronunciation, and it will be in your memory much longer. Okay, so how can it be? All right, I'll say it more precisely, or I'll say it more exactly. So more precisely, more exactly, I'll give you more information, I'll give you more details so that you can understand it really well. Okay, so just imagine this situation. You read some conversations for intermediate students and you translate it, and you translate some words, okay? And you're absolutely certain, or you're absolutely sure that all these words and phrases will be in your memory, but you'll have to change your mind. It means that you'll have to, it's like, it's like must in the future, but you'll change your idea, you'll change your point of view when days, weeks and months pass. It means that later you'll understand that this method doesn't work. When you translate new words, you're sure, okay, just I know these words, I'll remember them, but then time passes, and you try to remember words, phrases, but it's so difficult and it's often impossible. And you know that you're likely to forget. It means that really you'll forget most of these extremely useful words and phrases. So really you'll forget most of these extremely useful words and phrases if you only read them. There is one more thing which is bound to happen, right? You haven't misheard me. It's certain to happen. So, these phrases are similar. So you can say bound to happen or certain to happen. It means the same. It means that these things will definitely happen. So they will happen, and I'm sure that these things will happen, and you haven't misheard me. It means that, so actually, you heard this information and don't think that this information isn't right, don't think that this information isn't correct. No, this information is good, is reliable, you can trust this information. So I understand what I'm talking about. I'm not a crazy person, just I control my words, I control my speech, and so I know what I'm talking about. And it's certain to happen. Very important thing, you will never be able, it's like can in the future, you will never be able to use all this vocabulary in your speaking effectively. A very important thing. Okay, so if you just read something, okay, maybe you'll remember some words, but it will be very, very difficult. It will be very, very problematic. It will be a big problem for you if you want, actually, if you are serious about, learning English effectively and improving your speaking skills. So you won't be able to remember it while speaking. So only reading isn't good. So you need to listen, and few students understand it really well. So so I don't know why. Okay, so and what are you talking about? Really? I mean that if you really want to learn English words, so I mean that it means that I want to tell you, so what I'm talking about is what I'm talking about. If you really want to learn English words, you need to use them in your speech, writing. So in your speech, writing, very important things, and you also need to listen to them. Not only reading, but listening a lot to English words in context. So speech, writing, and listen, but listening a lot to English words in context is a crucial point in terms of your understanding. Okay, so is a crucial point means the most important point, the most important thing. It's a crucial point, the most important thing, okay, in terms of your understanding. In terms of means actually if we are talking about your level of understanding, so concerning in terms of your understanding or concerning your understanding, okay, so in terms of, so we are talking about it in terms of your understanding, so you need to focus on it. Okay, so good. Only listening. What about reading? how can I learn all these 20,000 English words? Well, you need to do the following. You need to do the following, or you need to do these things. We need to read and listen to it at the same time. So don't read only, don't read only books, without, some MP3 files or some audio files. Don't do it, just read and listen, okay? So at the same time, so read and listen at the same time, and different texts, conversations, topic, and translate these words, It's very important to translate these words, okay? I mean that if you read them not in the original, adapted texts, conversations, topics, yeah, that's for English learners. Alright, so good. What you also need to do is the following. So you need to write down these words, okay? So you see new words, yeah, you translate these words, and you need to write down these words and revise them from time to time. Yeah, so write down. So if you, for example, see a new word, for example, so maybe this one, so bound or certain to happen, so you need to write it down. You need to have, you need to keep a vocabulary notebook, and you need to write down all these words and to look at it and to look through these words from time to time. So it's a very good method, yeah, and revise them from time to time. So please write down all new words, all new phrases, and look through it from time to time. Yes, it's good. But don't write down only words, or not only words. You need to have examples. So please write down examples. So you need to have examples before your eyes. Yeah, really, because it's very important during the revision. Okay, so you can say maybe, I did the following. So I read without listening, and I didn't keep a vocabulary notebook. Okay, so I read without listening and I didn't keep a vocabulary notebook. So I mean that it means that, okay, so you read, but maybe you translated, but you didn't take notes, you didn't write it down, so not so effective. And I believe it's ineffective. So it isn't effective. So you didn't do three most important things, yeah? And you can ask, okay, you may ask, what are these things? So you didn't listen to all these text, conversations, and topics. Yeah, we talked about it. So you need to read and listen, not only reading if you really want to remember these words, okay? Listen, you need to listen to all these words, and yeah, it's the first thing. The second thing, you didn't write. You didn't write down new important words and you didn't revise them. It's also a very important thing. Just, yeah, please do it. Don't think it's unimportant. It's very important. So write down new words, new phrases, and look through actually your vocabulary notebook from time to time. Please revise it, and you'll remember it much better. And third, you didn't listen to these materials again while doing other things as a background. It means that you didn't listen to these materials again. For example, yeah, so you think that this lesson is quite good, yeah, no problem. Just write down your words, your phrases, then get back to it after a while or after some time. Just listen to it again or watch it again, and okay, you'll say, okay, I have no free time, no problem. But I'm not telling you that you need just, to sit on your chair and just to listen to it. You can do other things. So while doing other things, you can do other things and listen to these videos, to this playlist as a background. So no problem, and try to understand. So it's a really important thing, and if you didn't do it, so I believe it's ineffective, and it was ineffective. Okay, so I can't get it. I can use this method and I expect to learn 5,000 English words or maybe 7,000, but why 20,000? But why 20,000? A good question. I'll explain it to you. When you know more words and you know 10,000 English words or a little bit more, you can focus on listening real English, not simplified. So it's a real problem. So if you don't know many words, you can't listen to real English, so you can't turn on the radio, or you can't start watching some programs in English, so without translation, without subtitles, so you can't understand. Maybe you can understand the main idea 50%, but it's too little. You need to understand minimum 95%. But if you know this number of words, so if you use our tips, our recommendations, if you follow these tips, so you can focus on listening. Yeah, so you need to listen more and more, real English speech, and not simplified, okay? So you'll be able to understand a lot from the context while listening, in contrast to other students who focus mostly on grammar and reading. Yeah, so you'll be able to understand a lot. It means that it will be possible for you to understand a lot. Okay, so you'll be able to understand a lot of many things from the context while listening. So you know that teachers often say, okay, so read more, and you will understand many new words from the context. And I can tell you, yes, that's a good idea, but you need to listen more, not only reading. And my idea is the following: so you need to learn more English words, and you need to listen more, and to understand English context from the context, but not reading context, but listening context, okay? In contrast to other students. So it means that other students do the opposite thing. Yeah, they focus mostly on grammar and reading. So maybe they know many English words, but they can't understand. They can't understand real English speech, and as a result, their progress is very slow. Okay, but it isn't your case, or it won't be your case, it won't be your situation if you follow these tips. Okay, what are the recommendations can you give? So to sum up, or in conclusion, it's the following. So to make the process of learning English words easier and more enjoyable, so that you can enjoy it, so to learn really 20,000 English words or more. So learn English words in context for different levels. It's a very important thing. So don't learn only difficult materials. Learn them step by step. So simple, then more difficult, and so on. Learn English words in groups. For example, words about money, words about environment, words about job, and so on. It's also a good idea, but for different levels. In context for different levels. Next, you can revise some lists of English words with examples for revision. So you know that we have this list: 2,000 English words, 2,500 English words. So it's a good idea. If you're really keen on reading, so it means that if you really like reading, and you don't want to listen to it, so it's okay to, that you can, or maybe you can only read, but listen to what you read is an advantage. So it's desirable, okay? So it's desirable to read and listen, not only reading. But if you maybe don't want, to listen to this or that story, text for some reason, okay, no problem, just read is better than nothing, okay? Next, watch movies or TV series with subtitles when your level gets higher, or without subtitles. But the main idea is that you need to start doing it. So when your level gets high, first do it with subtitles. So, and when you're actually become absolutely sure, yeah, and you'll have a good English level, very good English level, advanced, so you won't need subtitles because you'll be able to understand without them. Okay, next, good. So watch more educational programs, not only movies, yeah, to make your vocabulary really large. The problem is that the vocabulary you meet in movies, in TV series, is rather limited in contrast to many educational programs. So actually you need to have a wide range of vocabulary, but not a very primitive, vocabulary. Well, and learn grammar books for different levels too. Why? So they are full of lots of new interesting words. Do you know this fact? That really grammar books are full of lots of new interesting words. They contain lots of difficult words too. Next, speak more on various topics. Yeah, it's a very important thing. When students communicate, so they often have a conversation like this. Okay, how are you? Where are you from? So what are you doing? But it's a very primitive language. So if you are really serious about improving your English greatly, so you need to talk on different topics or on various topics. Yeah, you need to practice different vocabulary, grammar structures, and so on. And please try to use different vocabulary with more advanced speakers. It's also very important. So improve your level, and so find more advanced speakers too, so that you can learn from them. So you don't need to pay. You don't need to pay. You can learn English for free. That's true, and we can't say no. That's not true. It's really true. And it's really a good idea. Well, what's next? So when you read something or listen to something, yeah, also pay attention to English phrases. So pay attention to it means also actually have a look at these English phrases, try to analyze them, to understand why they use this or that English phrase or collocation. It's like a special English phrase which you need to memorize, phrasal verbs, English grammar structures, maybe idioms, but not only words, not only words. Yeah, so you can learn 20,000 English words, but it isn't enough. You need to focus more on things like, these ones, yeah? Not only words, to understand what this or that sentence really means. So pay attention, please, to different English phrases, okay? And last but not least, so last but not least means so the last thing, but don't think that it's a very unimportant thing. So okay, although it's in the end, or it's at the end of the lesson, so watch more videos on the channel English Professionally. And you know, my friends, I think it's a good idea. So, and it's a good way, yeah, it's a good way. So we are on the right way, and really we've learned lots of new interesting things, information, and we're also improving our English greatly. So really, I'm very glad that I have this chance, that I think this opportunity, and okay, I'd like to thank you for your support and for this opportunity. Okay, thanks a lot for this opportunity. Okay, thank you very much.